The Oracle Network.
Hello.
Hey guys, welcome. I'm Abby.
And I'm Shauna.
And this is Anxious,
And Afraid,
the podcast.
where we talk about creepy things.
And true crime and conspiracies and other stuff.
All the fun stuff.
You love it.
Welcome back if you are a current listener, and if you're not, hello.
Hi, nice to meet you. From wherever you are.
From wherever you are. Correct.
Yeah, we hope you like weird shit, because it's coming at you.
Exactly. So at the beginning of this, we like to start off with a little question.
Mm-hmm.
So Abby, what made you anxious or afraid this week?
This week. Well, I have to go back to work on Monday.
After how many weeks off?
About 6. Not looking forward to it. Mostly just because I'll have to work.
Yeah, mixed feelings.
I mean, it'll be nice to have some structure back, and I miss coworkers, but who
Yeah.
really misses their job? Most people don't.
Yeah.
I miss a paycheck. I do miss that.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's about it. Just
Going back to work.
work in regular life.
Have to return to real life. Boo.
Yeah.
Oh, well. What are you going to do? Become independently wealthy? Can someone give me a lottery ticket that's a winning one? Then
Yeah.
maybe.
Let us know how we can do that.
I would love to know. What about you, Shauna? What made you anxious or afraid this week? Talking while she's burping, so she has time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You just know. It's one of my lovely symptoms of being pregnant.
Like your forever burps.
Forever burps all the time. Very big ones.
You're finally on my level.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty gross.
What's going to happen to me when I'm pregnant? Dear God, I already belch like a sailor.
Oh, I mean, it's just going to be constant. I mean, for me, it was day one, just belching all day long like a man. And I still do that.
Cute.
Super cute.
Love that for you and Chad.
Yes. Speaking of that, I'll just mention, I guess as the time we're recording this, because
We record,
Future.
yeah, we record multiple episodes on one day now.
we did, but I did just turn 30 weeks. 30,
3-0.
which I don't like because it's
weird.
in the 30s, and that's pretty much it.
That's like the end of the road for me.
There's only like 10 weeks left, and that's if I go all the way.
Can she go all the way? We hope so. That's what we want.
This will probably, by the time this comes out, it'll probably be more like 33 weeks, which is disgusting.
And then December will be over. And then before you know it, January's over. And then before you know it, halfway through February.
And then something crazy's gonna happen to my body.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I'm getting bigger every day. It's harder to move all the time. Taking a shower, even if you're not shaving, is a fucking chore.
I would just imagine everything is a chore at this point.
Yeah, no joke. I'm no, there's no exaggeration. I'm out of breath all the time just by walking into the next room.
Yeah, just by being alive.
Yeah.
Out of breath.
Oh my gosh, I cooked dinner the other day and I was like, man, this is hard.
That's the only one you get in this month, Chad.
Yeah. So that's crazy. I'm really creeping up there. I'm getting bigger. She's moving all the time.
I feel like it's gone by so fast and slow at the same time. It's so weird.
Yeah, that's also true.
Mostly flying by, though.
Yeah, especially at this point, I feel like it's just gonna we're gonna blink and then she's gonna be out of me.
Weird.
Pray for me and my body, and hopefully everything goes okay. I did pass my glucose test. That's good.
No DBDs for you.
No DBDs.
Diabetes.
No, but I am a little anemic, so I take extra iron for that. That's my little update. and then heartburn's a bitch. But that's pretty much it so far. And back pain, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
But Ryland's doing good in there. She floating around.
She floating, she kicking, she moving.
Doing her jazzercise exercises.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly cute, like, especially if it's, like, a cute little, like, kick or like, little, like, muscle spasm type thing. But when she's, like, rolling, like, for,
rolling in the deep.
For, like, an extra, like, 2 to 3 seconds, I'm like, oh, that's gross. Like, stop it. You're a little alien inside of me still.
That's so much
like
movement around inside of your guts.
It's still so weird. Like, if you think about it too hard, it's very weird.
Like, stop kicking my bladder, child.
Like, there's just a moving little creature inside of me. It's so gross.
It's wild. Can't wait to meet her.
Oh, she's gonna be so cute.
She is so exposed to all the weird shit we talk about. Like, this is all
she's already listening.
Yeah. She's gonna come out weird like us.
I hope she's kind of like a creepy kid.
You want like a reincarnated child?
Oh yeah, I like told my sister once. I'm like, I'm gonna listen to everything she says, and if she says that she died in a past life,
it's gonna be a Titanic survivor. If a Titanic survivor comes into your child,
wow, that would be amazing.
You would be all about it.
That's funny. Yeah, she's gonna have to deal with a weird mom.
That's okay. Everyone's parents are weird.
But I'm cool.
She'll think you're really cool until she's older, and she'll be like, "Wow, my mom's fucking weird."
Whatever. I'm gonna be.
But I love her.
Super cool. Yeah. Anyway, what's up? That's what's up.
That's what's up. And then one more thing.
True.
After this episode, we're gonna take a week off for New Year's.
New year.
Mm-hmm. Same us.
I know, not new me. Same.
But it'll be good. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Enjoy the holidays. Enjoy the New Year. Be safe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we'll just be skipping a little week there or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Just a heads up.
Heads up.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any other business matters to get to?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think we got some food to eat, hopefully, here pretty soon.
Yeah, we got some food on the way, but before we do that, should I continue?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. So part 2.
That's right.
Here we are, bringing it back. Part 2 for Brittany Murphy. So when we, left off last week,
right, we
went over Brittany's life and her career, as well as the life of her husband, Simon Monjack.
We don't like.
We're not a fan. So where we left off, Brittany's health and career had taken a downward turn. She wasn't doing so great. It's also right before Christmas, which is, on theme for when we were releasing this episode, and also super, super sad.
Yeah, it makes it so much more tragic.
Right? Oh, it's so sad. Okay, let's dive in.
Okay.
We're in Hollywood. The date is December 20th, 2009.
Okay.
I'm about to read you the emergency 911 call, or at least part of it, coming from Brittany Murphy and Simon Monjack's home, where her mother Sharon also lives.
Okay.
1895 Rising Glen Road is the address. Okay, dispatch call. So Sharon calls already extremely distressed and frantic, and the dispatcher says, "Tell me exactly what happened." Mm-hmm. Sharon says, "My daughter's passed out. Please get here quick. Please, she's not moving." He says, "Can you feel or hear any breathing?" And you can hear Sharon talking to Simon in the room. And she says, "Can you hear any breathing, Simon?" And he says, "No." And she frantically repeats, "No." Dispatch says, "Okay, all right, listen to me carefully. I'm going to tell you how to do compressions, okay?"
Oh my God.
Dispatch, I know.
Sorry.
Dispatch gives directions, and Sharon says that Simon is doing it. Dispatch is counting out loud to the pace that he needs to be pumping. But Simon's also counting along with him, but he's counting way too slow. So he's not doing the compressions nearly fast enough.
Idiot.
Dispatch asks if anyone saw what happened. Sharon said she was dizzy. She couldn't walk right. She's had a cold. "Brittany, please come back." And then she just starts wailing. So when the emergency responders arrived at the home, they found Brittany unresponsive, sprawled out on the floor of her bathroom. The top half of her body was lying on a small chaise lounge that was made for her dog, and her bottom half lay on the bathroom floor. The EMTs moved her into the main room to attempt to revive her, but she remained unresponsive. Brittany Murphy was then transported to the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where she was pronounced dead just after 10 a.m. at 32 years old.
32.
That is so
That is me next year. That is so sad.
Oh, 32. Oh. And it's in the morning. I don't know why I thought it was at night. It happened in the morning. It always surprises me when it's in the morning.
Okay, I think I pictured it at night too.
Yeah, 10 a.m. is when she was
10
pronounced.
a.m..
Yeah.
Ah, sad.
Yeah. Okay, so 3 hours after her death, the home is surrounded by press, waiting to see if Simon Monjack would come out, as he, had shared the home with Brittany for the last 3 years. At first, everyone assumed it was an overdose. There had been rumors circulating that Brittany was having issues with drugs, eating disorders, so everyone just assumed that she had gone the way multiple troubled celebrities had before her.
Yeah.
But sadly for the press, Simon was not coming out. He did, however, do an interview with People magazine a couple days after her death. When asked if the death was a possible overdose or complication linked to anorexia, Simon denied both claims, saying, "These rumors that she was anorexic, it's crazy. She was slim, but that was her natural physique."
No. We've
say
seen
no.
her before.
Yeah, we saw her, but okay. He continues, "This is what's killing all of us. How did it happen? Her mom, myself, and her family, we want to know why we lost our baby." I don't like that he calls, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Everyone has different pet names.
Sure.
Now, this is in direct opposition to Simon's initial wishes when he was asked about having an autopsy performed. He initially refused the autopsy, saying he didn't want her cut up. He said it would break her mother's heart. Which is,
also figure out what happened.
Yeah, that's what's important. Simon, however, was informed that they would be performing an autopsy, whether he wanted it or not.
Good, because you don't call the shots here, dude.
Yeah, if she has if it's kind of well, maybe not suspicious, but you have to find out why this 32-year-old woman
32-year-old woman
just died.
Seemingly just fell to the ground and died.
Yeah, so you gotta find out. Mm-hmm. When asked about the day before Brittany's death, or what it had been like, Simon told People magazine that his wife had been ill and was resting in bed all day from laryngitis. Apparently, Monjack and Sharon had been recently ill as well. They had all suffered flu-like symptoms after contracting an illness in Puerto Rico a couple weeks earlier when they were on that movie set.
Right.
Simon said Brittany had been treating her symptoms with herbal tea, ginger, and lemon. He said she was on herbal remedies that wouldn't speed up her heart. Oh, because she kind of had, I think they said, a heart murmur that she was worried about. It wasn't bad enough to be medicated for, but I think she was kind of scared of certain medications, so she's only on herbal remedies for this illness.
Okay.
He said there was nothing here that could endanger her. There was prescription medication in the house for her female time and some cough syrup.
Female time.
For her female time.
Grow
her special female time.
Oh, stupid.
So Monjack described how they had spent the day and evening just relaxing in bed, watching 3 movies as Brittany prepared to cast her vote as a member of the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. According to People magazine, they ordered Brittany's favorite takeout, Thai food. Yes,
nice.
Queen. Same. And ate soup prepared by Simon's mother, Sharon. He said she was tired and a little sad because she was sick. She wore her Beverly Hills Hotel robe and monkey pajamas. They watched It's Complicated, Public Enemy, and The Princess and the Frog. The next morning, Sharon would walk into Brittany's bathroom to discover her collapsed and unresponsive on the floor. Ed Winter was the assistant chief coroner in LA County at the time, and he had overseen several celebrity deaths. In his interview for the documentary, he said that he responded to the home of Brittany Murphy and met with Simon and Sharon. When he entered the home, Sharon was sitting on the couch and she would cry a little bit, then stop and talk with Simon or say something, and then she would just start crying again. So she's understandably super upset.
I'm sorry, but Sharon is Simon's mother?
Sharon is Brittany's mother.
Sharon.
Yes.
Is Brittany's mother.
Yes.
Okay. I think you made a mistake a few seconds ago.
What'd I say?
I think you said it was Simon's mother.
Oh, oops. Well, no, that's Brittany's mother. Sorry.
Okay.
Simon's mom's name is Linda.
Okay.
Linda.
Okay. So we fixed that. I'm back on track.
My B. Sharon, Brittany's mama.
Got it.
So she's super upset on the couch. And Ed Winters has walked in. He's kind of observing their behavior. He said Simon appeared to be somewhat under the influence, just pacing around. He wasn't totally coherent. There were several little indicators that just didn't feel right. He said that you get that hair on the back of your neck that stands up, and he's kind of suspicious. He said that they basically said that they were up late. She had flu-like symptoms. They'd been in Puerto Rico 2 weeks earlier. And when they were there, she became ill. In the morning, Brittany went to the bathroom. After a short time, Sharon discovered her unresponsive. They then carried her into the shower and turned on cold water to see if they could revive her. And he said that there was a delay to start CPR. He's like, why? Like,
good question.
Yeah. Why did it get that far? If she's this sick, why didn't somebody pick up the phone, make arrangements? Like,
yeah.
So while they awaited the results of the autopsy, Brittany's funeral was held on Christmas Eve. So fucking sad.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. She was buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills with a small gathering in attendance. But it wasn't very long before the world began to witness some very odd behavior from Simon Monjack and her mother, Sharon Murphy.
Yes. Okay.
So in a strange turn of events.
Yes. Okay. I think I referred to this earlier.
Okay.
Like,
Yes.
What the fuck?
Things get kind of weird because that's Brittany's mom and her son-in-law. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Good. Okay. Good.
Simon announced that a memorial for Brittany would be held in the name of the newly founded Brittany Murphy Foundation, which was to be a charitable fund for children's arts education, as well as supporting the USO and cancer research. However, in order to attend the memorial, you had to pay for a ticket, which had a minimum price of $1,000.
What?
These invites were sent to her friends and family.
No.
Right? So everyone saw it as super money grubby and tacky. They were like, what the fuck? Like,
that is like really gross.
You want us to pay to come pay respects to Brittany? Like,
no.
This just seems so gross.
And that's a chunk. I mean, Hollywood, but chunk of change,
right?
Man.
I mean, to me, that would be just way too much. So the press quickly got a hold of the story. There was a lot of pushback, especially when it came out that the foundation had not filed as a not-for-profit. So basically, they could take all of the profit from this foundation for themselves if they wanted to.
Don't like it.
Not really filed as a charity. So after a lot of bad press, the foundation was shut down and the memorial was not held. And if it was a money-making scheme of Simon's, it definitely failed. And he was probably looking for some easy money now that Brittany had left her entire estate to her mother. Which makes me wonder if she maybe did know more about her husband than she let on. Because why else would she leave him completely out of the will?
Yeah, interesting.
And they'd been married for years at that point.
Maybe she realized he was not good news.
It just is weird because, like, he had such control over her funds. You'd think that he would have pressured her into putting the will in his name, right? Like, it's just interesting.
Ooh, okay.
So, Simon and Sharon also released a series of photos.
It's the photos. Okay.
They had professionally taken.
Gross and creepy. Okay.
They were meant to look like two people grieving the loss of a loved one, but that is not how it came across.
Super cringe.
In one photo, they're standing really close together. They're holding each other and a picture of Brittany, which makes them look more like grieving parents than a mother and son-in-law. Especially since he looks older. He looks like he could be Sharon's husband. And then they have a picture of this young, beautiful girl. It just is like weird.
It is super weird.
And all of the photos are like that. They're so cringy. It's just like icky.
Uncomfortable.
And not to mention, they're still living in this house together. So it's just kind of like, it almost feels like Simon just moved on to his next meal ticket a little bit, you know?
That's what I was already thinking. If he found out that everything was left to Brittany's mother, then he's like, okay, well, now I'm going after her mom.
Right.
Ugh.
He's like, well, we already live together.
Gross.
I mean, they obviously rejected any of those claims. They were like, of course not. Like, that's disgusting. We're not, you know.
Right.
Who knows?
Okay,
Okay,
you're
so
not making it look good.
I know. So continuing on with their strange behavior, about a month after Brittany's death, Simon and Sharon do an interview with Larry King. Have you seen this one?
No.
It's another weird, cringy thing.
Oh, God.
You have to watch it. It's such a wild interview, and they obviously show parts of it on the documentary. So I'll just go over the weirdest, cringiest bits.
Okay.
So from the beginning, you can tell that Sharon looks like she's under the influence of something. She's kind of all over the place and spacey looking.
Okay.
She's also very submissive to Simon, who does most of the talking.
Of course.
Larry King asks Simon, "So you didn't want to do an autopsy at first?" And Simon answers, "No, it was such a shock. Here you have this pristine body that is curvy in all the right places, with skin like silk. And how could I say in front of her mother, cut her up?" Ugh. First of all,
Creep.
I don't like the way he describes her.
Curvy in all the right places.
Her pristine body.
Ew.
And then Sharon jumps in and she's like, "It's not like she was in a car accident. She collapsed on the floor." Like, don't you want to know? Okay, and then...
So she was like saying that like she's not in a car accident, so it's like her body wasn't already messed up kind of thing?
Or like saying...
So she was like agreeing like, yeah, of course we didn't want it at first.
Yeah, that's kind of how it seemed.
That I would be polar opposite. It'd be like she's a young girl who fell to her death. Figure it out.
Yeah, So that was kind of weird.
Okay.
Larry asked them to describe the morning it happened. Simon said, "That morning she woke up. She couldn't breathe. She went out to get some air. Sharon followed her out." And I'll say this because I know you can't. And he's looking at Sharon at this point. She said, he's referring to Brittany, "Mom, I'm dying. I love you." And at this point, Sharon's just like sobbing in the interview. And Larry asks, "Wait, she knew she was dying?" And Sharon tearfully says, "Oh, this was about an hour before." And then Simon interrupts her and says, No, baby." He calls her baby.
No.
He says, No, baby. This was, you've forgotten time. And Sharon says, Oh, sweetheart. Oh. And then he continues.
You've forgotten time?
Yeah. Like, "Oh, you're confused. You've forgotten the timing."
Red flag alert.
It's icky. And then he continues that, and then she ran to the bathroom, referring to Brittany. Brittany had, and then he's talking about Brittany here. "Brittany's safe haven was the bathroom. I was always pleased when she was in the bathroom. That meant she was pulling herself together, reading Vogue and putting on lipstick. And that was Brittany,
You know.
There's just like the most, I feel like he just thinks of women as just like these pretty little dolls that he can dress and control, and
they only care about looks and looking perfect. And
of course she was in the bathroom pulling herself together, like
pulling herself together.
I was so happy when she was in the bathroom.
He's so bad news and gross.
No, just the way he talks about her, I'm just like,
Objects.
She was such an object, like, to him. It's just okay.
Ew.
And Larry King says, "And then what?" And Monjack says, and then Sharon screamed, "Simon!" And Simon ran to the bathroom and found Brittany collapsed on the floor with a faint pulse. He attempted CPR with a dispatcher over the phone, but he would ultimately fail. Larry asked them if they were scared that the toxicology report would find that she had overdosed on medication, but they were adamant that this is not what happened. Larry then asked the pair about how the entire estate was left solely to Brittany's mother and asked if it was a sizable estate. But before Sharon could say much about it, Simon interrupted her and said, "We haven't even begun to add it up. And I'm just telling you, we're not doing math. We're eating, we're living, I'm paying the bills."
No, you're
No,
not.
you're not. He says they haven't even looked at Brittany's estate yet. And then Larry King asks Sharon what she will do now and if she's going to go back east. And they both say no, that they need each other. And Simon says they have a job to do, and it's called the Brittany Murphy Foundation. But we all know how that went. Okay, so continuing on to the next odd encounter. 53 days after Brittany Murphy's death, Amber Ryland, a reporter who had gained exclusive access to Simon after she gave him flowers on Christmas. Yep, that's real. She was granted exclusive access to his home. She filmed it, and some of it's in the documentary that What Happened to Brittany Murphy, or I think that's what it's called.
Who is she again? I'm sorry.
Her name's Amber Ryland. She's a reporter. So there was like reporters crawling all over the place outside their house, but he didn't want to talk to any of them.
Oh, okay.
She goes out on a limb and she gives him flowers on Christmas, thinking it would be like a nice gesture. And like he decided he liked her. So he starts talking to her, and pretty much just her, or at least according to her. So then he grants her access to come into the home, which nobody else had been able to do. And she films it.
Okay.
And if you watch the documentary, you can see some of the footage. So Simon tours her around the home, but not before first showing her the extensive security measures he had, including a thumbprint scanner for the front door and like a whole security room that showed like cameras hooked up all over the property.
Okay.
Thumbprint scanner. What are you, James Bond?
Especially back in that day.
Like what? Okay.
Who do you think you are?
Thumbprint scanner. Okay, so he continues the tour. He's showing Amber photos of Brittany. He's talking about her career, taking credit for stuff. He shows her photos that were used in Brittany's funeral, saying that he had photographed her himself. Like, I think he used some of the...
always bragging.
Oh, so bragging. Like, I think he used some of the photos that he took during their, like, weird late-night photo shoots, and... Anyway, so he's showing her that stuff. Amber Island remembered being very surprised how unkept and cluttered the house was. Because I guess when you think of rich people, it's like clean, modern, immaculate.
Maids. Yeah, totally.
Because someone else is cleaning it.
Yeah.
That they have paid to do. Not the place, apparently, or not the case, apparently, with this place.
Because he can do it all.
Oh, yeah. He's a makeup artist, a maid.
A cleaner.
An organizer. He takes her to a room which has racks on racks of clothing, like wall-to-wall clothing racks, all belonging to Brittany. He just kind of like thumbs through the racks, taking out random pieces, and be like, "Oh, isn't this cute?" Like just showing her clothes. It was kind of weird and cringy.
Yeah.
When she was led up into the bathroom where Brittany was found, she saw the countertops were still littered with beauty products. It didn't look like the place had been cleaned or touched. And this is 53 days later.
Oh, no. Okay.
There's beauty products everywhere. They're on the counters. They're in the shower. Like every flat available space is covered in bottles, products.
Weird.
So much stuff. It's nuts. Like when you see it. There's also multiple of those like standing storage bins with the plastic clear drawers that you can pull out. Do you know what I'm talking about? Bunches of those also crammed full of stuff with stuff sitting on top of them. Simon was like, "Oh yeah, this is really the first time I've been in here since, it happened." And he almost seems kind of like surprised that all of her stuff is still there, even though like,
okay.
That was kind of weird. Amber was then introduced to Sharon and noticed that she acted very submissive around Simon. He was very much in control. She also recalled going into the master bedroom, and this is weird, and seeing that both sides of the bed were unkept, even though Brittany was long gone. And she wondered if the pair were sleeping together.
Oh,
so Amber, with her giant lady balls, asked him about the bed.
Oh, wow. Giant lady balls.
Right? The balls on her. I'm like, oh, God, I could never. So she asks him, and he says that sometimes Sharon crawls into bed with him, and they just hold each other and cry together.
No, I don't care if you're mourning the same person.
It's just
no.
icky. It's just icky. Icky.
It's very icky.
I understand you're both mourning a loss, but like crawling into bed together.
So hold each other in bed.
In bed.
No, lines are crossed.
Yeah, and that's like where he and Brittany used to sleep together too. So like,
yeah,
that's
it's like,
weird.
what, Mom? What is? I mean, if that's the case, who knows if he's even lying? But Mom, what are you doing? That was what the.
I don't know. She seemed like she was also completely under his spell, like control. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just very strange.
Weird.
During the investigation after Brittany's death, investigators went to the home and checked the nightstands for medicine bottles. On Simon's side of the nightstand, there was at least 90 prescription bottles. 90 were found with several different names, highly unusual. There was also several bottles for Brittany Murphy and a Lola Manilo, which was possibly an alias for Brittany. Because I guess if you were already getting too many medications, you'd have to go, like doctors would have to submit like your order under like an alias so that you could get these extra meds. I don't know. Sounds shady. But just so many bottles of pills. So it's kind of, I mean, at that point it was starting to look more likely that she may have died from like an overdose.
Yeah. How do you organize that many freaking meds?
And is it 90 different ones or the multiples?
Are some old or some new?
Yeah, that's just so many pills. You couldn't even take that many. I don't know. It just seems like a lot.
Yeah, how do you organize that shit?
So everyone's kind of like, well, maybe it was a drug overdose at this point, but that is not really what they found on the autopsy.
Okay.
So 55 days, just a couple days after this, after the death of Brittany Murphy, the results from the toxicology and tissue tests were released. Dr. Lisa Sheinin was the deputy medical examiner who did the autopsy on Brittany Murphy. She found very low levels of hemoglobin in her red blood cells. They were at a 3.0 versus the normal range of 12 to 15.5. Whoa. And this indicated that Brittany was very anemic.
Yeah.
Very anemic. And Dr. Sheinin said that had Brittany gone to the doctor a couple of weeks before her death, any decent doctor would have admitted her to the ER as the levels in her blood were life-threatening.
Yeah, that's so unbelievably low.
So low. Like, how? No wonder she couldn't function.
Yeah, because when you're anemic, you can't, like, move. You, like, faint all the time.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, I'm guessing not eating, which is probably...
huge, yeah.
Relating to the anemia, but, like...
Oh, you're not getting iron from
no nutrients.
Yeah.
Just, like, being kept alive on just, like, pills, like, uppers, and, like...
Yikes.
It's terrible for your body. Okay, so... The doctor described a test that they do with lung tissue where they would take a piece and they drop it in water to see if it floats. Healthy lung tissue will float. They do this with multiple samples from Brittany's lung tissue and many of them sank. This indicated that Brittany had severe pneumonia and not just a recent illness, it had been chronic. So they're like, she's been dealing with this for a while because like of the extensive damage to her lungs.
Yeah.
The toxicology report showed that she had no evidence of alcohol in her system or any illegal drugs at all.
Wow.
They did show that she had a lot of prescription and over-the-counter drugs in her system. But she wasn't like doing, like everyone's like, oh, she did crack or cocaine or whatever.
Right.
They didn't find anything like that.
No.
The doctor said the anemia alone would have killed her, but listed the official cause of death as pneumonia with complications, including the iron deficiency and the multiple prescription drugs. And the manner of death was ruled an accident.
Yeah.
Dr. Sheinin was adamant that Brittany would have had a chance had she been treated even a couple days before her death.
Wow.
So it's just really sad and infuriating. Like, it was so preventable and avoidable.
Totally.
Especially since she'd been ill for a while by the time that she passed away.
Right.
According to Simon's mother, Linda, she had spoken to Brittany only 2 days before her death, and Brittany had told her she wasn't feeling well. Brittany told her she was having problems breathing, and that if she walked up the stairs, she could barely breathe by the time she got to the top. I mean, you can relate.
I can relate to that, for sure.
For different reasons.
But damn, okay, so she's saying this stuff.
Yeah. And she asked her mother-in-law if she was dying. And Linda replied, no, of course you're not dying. You're fine, but you do need to go to the doctor.
Oh, so she was like scared. Like, am I dying?
Yeah, like I mean, who wouldn't be scared if you can't even get up the stairs? Yeah,
you're 32. You shouldn't be dealing with this stuff.
Yeah. Well, sadly, she didn't go to the doctor. Now, at this point, Brittany's death is ruled an accident. As much as the press wanted it to be Simon's fault, he was not found legally guilty or legally, to blame for her death. So you would think, like, okay, well, I guess the story's over then, right? Like, that's what happened.
No.
But you're wrong, because we still have things to talk about.
Okay.
But before that, let's just take a break.
Okay.
Okay, welcome back.
Ew.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed your break. All right, let's dive right back in. So, it's May 23rd, 2010. A mere 5 months after the death of Brittany Murphy, the paramedics are once again called to 1895 Rising Glen Road.
This was only 5 months after her death.
5 months.
Okay, wow, so fast.
But this time it's not for it's not for Brittany, it's for Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon called the paramedics, and then eventually her publicist, who said she was sobbing into the phone, telling him to get over to the house because it was her nightmare with Brittany happening all over again.
Trauma she's going through.
I can't even. So according to Sharon, she had walked into the master bedroom around 9:20 p.m. And had found Simon unresponsive in bed. The paramedics attempted to revive him but failed, pronouncing him dead at 9:45. He was 40 years old.
Wow.
Which is still not really, like...
No, that's not old at all.
No. So...
And also how? And 5 months after...
5 months, same house.
Super weird.
Yeah. And I can't even imagine what Sharon's going through. Like, it's just unreal.
Oh my gosh, I could not imagine. Especially like that short of time frame and like the next person in that house just dies crazy like that.
And also, like, everyone kind of been looking at Simon as the villain, and then he dies, and you're just like,
Wait,
what the fuck? Right?
Yeah.
So, in the weeks leading up to Simon's death, those who met with him noted how unwell he appeared. I mean, he already didn't look great, but he got worse. Yeah. He was sweating a lot. His face was puffy. He was acting strange. He was becoming increasingly paranoid. Simon spoke to him and Sharon's publicist the day before his death, and the publicist mentioned that Simon was drinking alcohol and smoking a cigar during their visit. He was very sweaty and in and out of consciousness during their conversation. He said that you could just watch him drift off to sleep and then snap back and then start talking like nothing happened.
Oh my gosh.
The publicist would look back at that conversation with horror, realizing he had witnessed a man close to death, and he didn't help him.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, because he died like right after that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So an autopsy was performed, and the results were pretty shocking to the public. Simon Monjack's cause of death was exactly the same as Brittany's.
Exactly the same.
The autopsy report listed the cause of death as community-acquired acute bronchial pneumonia and severe anemia.
Which is so shocking, and they had
pneumonia and anemia. It's just like
the same exact two things.
And it's just like pneumonia can be so treatable if you just get help for it.
Just go to the damn doctors, people.
And they're young. It's just like, it's such a weird thing for two young people to die from.
And they had like completely different like body types. I don't know if that makes it kind of like weirder. It's just like.
Right. The toxicology also showed that he had, multiple medications in his system as well.
Yeah, I mean,
he had 90 bottles, so
no
he's taking it.
That is so chillingly weird.
It's just so weird. Yeah, because you're right. Like, their body types were completely different.
Yeah.
Like, their lifestyles, I don't know, maybe lifestyles weren't that different, but, like, physically speaking, they look so different.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think they would die from the same thing. It's just crazy. So the media, of course, went nuts, and the conspiracy theories start flying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those who believed Simon had killed Brittany were looking at Sharon now, thinking she was the ultimate mastermind killer all along.
But how?
I don't know. Well, we'll get to that. Simon's father, who was a builder, was concerned that Simon and Brittany had actually both died of toxic mold poisoning from their house. This is another theory. The publicist I mentioned earlier recalled seeing black mold present around the windows and the French doors when he was at the home. He said you could visibly see black mold spots, and they also show it in the documentary. But when asked about the possibility of mold poisoning being a factor in the deaths, Sharon said it was absurd. In an interview with People magazine, Roger Neal, which is the Murphy family spokesman, said that last year the family had the house inspected, but they found no signs of mold. Quote, due to the inferior products used by the builder and subcontractors, the Murphy home had a persistent leak problem. Simon Monjack hired an attorney and filed a lawsuit against them. In October 2009, so that's only a couple months before her death, in October 2009, to ensure the home was safe to occupy, the attorney hired a well-respected company to conduct a full inspection of the home, which would include checking for any possible mold. Neal says that according to Monjack, the report revealed no mold problem. There was also a lack of evidence in the autopsies to confirm the toxic mold theory.
And also it would have affected Sharon.
Right.
So that's a no on me.
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog. So Dr. Lisa Shinen, who performed Brittany's autopsy, was dubious of the mold claims, saying she saw no evidence of mold in Brittany's lungs during the autopsy. She explained that when mold poisoning is present, especially at a lethal level, the mold spores would have been evident during the autopsy, and they just simply weren't there.
For sure.
The same was said of Simon's. Mm-hmm. So, in another weird turn of events, a couple years later, Sharon would reverse her opinion on the black mold and sue the law firm who represented them in the previous lawsuit against the construction company who built the house. So basically, Sharon eventually got a settlement from the first lawsuit about the poor construction on the house. But when she accepted that settlement, she gave up the right to sue the construction company again over the wrongful death of her daughter. Sharon says she was not told by the law firm that she would have a case, and she wouldn't have settled, is what she claims. So she claims that because of poor contracting, black mold had been present and killed her daughter, but now she can't sue the contractors, so instead she's suing the attorneys.
The attorneys.
The attorneys.
Oh, snap.
What a mess. I don't actually know how all of that turned out, but I was just like, God, I have a headache just reading it.
Ugh, who has the time or energy?
Right. In any case, Sharon ended up selling the house for $2.3 million in 2010 and stayed in a hotel for the last couple of months out of concern for the mold. Okay, so when all of that mold drama was unfolding, shortly after Simon's death, there was another crazy drama tornado barreling towards Hollywood from the sunny state of Florida. Out of nowhere, in 2013, Brittany Murphy's father, Angelo Bertolotti, pops into the picture, claiming that he believes his daughter and son-in-law had been poisoned, and he further posited that the LAPD had not done a proper investigation into his daughter's death, which he believes to be suspicious.
Damn.
Angelo had lived in Florida and ran a string of nightclubs. He did 12 years of prison time on felony charges.
Whoa.
And allegedly was involved in mob activities. Also was not involved in Brittany's life until she started making money.
Of course.
Doesn't seem like the best guy. The LAPD did admit that they never tested the hair or hair follicles of Brittany Murphy after Angelo sued them, and they were forced to hand over a hair sample for testing. I think what they said is like, no, we didn't test her hair because we didn't believe that she was poisoned. Like, she clearly died of anemia and pneumonia. Like, no, we didn't test her hair.
Yeah.
So he's like, let me test it. So Angelo had a hair sample sent to a private lab for analysis, and their report came back showing high levels of heavy metals in Brittany's sample, leading him to believe that she had been poisoned. He started doing a lot of press interviews. He was in the news a lot, accusing Sharon of possibly being the murderer, which is probably great for her.
Ugh.
However, upon further evaluation of the private lab results of Brittany's hair samples, it was discovered that the heavy metals were found in her hair, but not the root of her hair or the hair follicle. So they had only just tested the strand of hair, not the root, meaning that the heavy metals detected were not in her bloodstream, but had to have come from hair products like hair dye, hairspray, that was just on her strand of hair. Because she like dyed her hair and did all kinds of shit with her hair.
Of course. And that's like the dead part of the hair, so.
Right. So like, yeah, there's heavy metal in it. Girl liked her products. Look at her bathroom. So that claim never really went much further, although Angelo continued to claim proudly and loudly that his daughter was poisoned by her mother. Yikes. Which just makes me super sad for Sharon. Like, she's already dealing with so much. Now she has to deal with her deadbeat ex who's been out of the picture and just wants attention.
Claims that she's a murderer.
Yeah, after she did all the work raising their child.
Yeah, even if she was like weird, like, no, that's so much to deal with. And
I know. I just feel like she's the ultimate loser in this story. Like,
honestly, I mean, because she was like under the spell with her daughter, and then just everything crumbled around her.
And she also loved Simon. Like, even if it wasn't a romantic thing, like, she lost two people that she was super close with.
Yeah, I mean, her daughter was her world.
Literally her whole world.
Wow, that's really sad.
It's really rough. I just feel really bad for her. Especially, like, when she found out how Brittany died. Like, can you imagine the guilt knowing, like, you could have saved your daughter? Like,
that makes it so much worse.
If you would have taken her to the fucking doctor, like, you could have. I just can't. So, more bad news for Sharon. Unfortunately.
You got it.
So shortly after Simon's death, Sharon called her publicist to the house and presented him with all of the extravagant jewelry that Simon had purchased and asked the publicist if he could sell them because she needed cash. Probably, I think, for the house, because it's not like she's working, I don't think, so she probably doesn't have a lot of money coming in. The publicist took the jewelry to 2 different establishments on Rodeo Drive. It was all inspected, and he was told that it was all fake. None of the diamonds were real, and the pieces were essentially worthless.
Oh, that is upsetting.
Yeah. So he takes the jewelry back to Sharon, who was aghast and devastated, thinking that at least one of those pieces was worth $1 million.
Oh my gosh.
She said, well, I guess there's no property then, or stocks, or bonds. Simon had lied to them about everything.
Oh, imagine coming to that realization after all of
They're
this.
both dead. You're left with all of this mess.
And everything was a fraud.
It was all a lie.
He just took your entire life and your daughter, and the realization of that.
In 3 years, he had gone through $3 million of Brittany's money. All Sharon had left was Brittany's pension, the house, and whatever was left in the bank. She would soon learn who Simon really was and realized it had all been a lie. He'd screwed over a lot of people in other states, bounced checks, scammed people out of money. He had been running from a lot of people before he met Brittany, which was okay because most of them couldn't find him. But once he married a celebrity, he became a public figure.
Right.
And suddenly everyone knew where he was and they all came looking for their money, which explains all the crazy security measures in the house and his like growing paranoia.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And so he was using Brittany's money to pay off his debts while still accruing even more. He had 2 kids Brittany didn't know about. Possibly one of those he was putting through private school in England, which I'm sure cost a pretty penny. Probably Brittany's money.
Yeah.
So in the end, a story that seemingly had a lot of twists and turns ended up just kind of being simple and sad. There's not a conspiracy. There's not a murder. It's just 2 people that like sadly died from something that was like treatable and preventable.
Yeah.
And that's the end, and I'm sad.
I'm sad too. That's so sad.
Yeah.
What a fraud dickhead he was.
I know. I think someone in the documentary was saying like maybe he knew he was dying and he just knew like it was the end of the road. Like he's not going to be able to charm anyone else out of their money. He probably was just like, I'm just going to bow out because I don't know.
That's crazy. And how can somebody be so charming? And it's just like, how do you fall for that? Like you just, not like it's her fault. It's just like, it's so interesting how you can just like really ignore so many red flags and just be swept under the spell of this person.
And he had already done it to like several women before her. So I'm sure he knew, what he was doing and, very effective.
Oh, I wonder how Sharon's doing now.
I couldn't find a lot about her. She seems like she's become reclusive. Like she's completely disappeared from the public.
Oh, well, I don't blame her.
I know. I think she doesn't do interviews. She did like one open letter, basically just disputing everything her ex had been saying, like to come out and be like, I don't want to talk, but he's making me, like everything he's saying is a lie. He wasn't in Brittany's life. He's a deadbeat. Like I have to deal with all this horror and now he's making it worse. So, but besides that, she's just kind of, she's
just trying to live alone.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Sad. Super sad for her.
Yeah, I feel for her. That's crazy. Even if there's no conspiracy or anything, that's just a wild ass story. And like, it's still super weird how they just died of the exact same thing.
Yeah. It's just such a wild thing too, knowing that someone so famous and well connected can get also swindled. Like swindled that way.
Really fast and hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it can happen to anyone.
Yeah, it can really happen to anyone. Good story, man. I'm glad you covered it.
I really wanted to cover this one, but I knew it was going to be super long. It's going to be.
To it.
Yeah, there is a lot that happened in it. So,
but you did great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Should we do City of the Week?
What's the city? That goes to Berlin, Germany.
Berlin,
Germany.
Wow, so cultured.
Hello over there.
Hey guys, thank you for listening.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Making us feel cool.
That is really cool. The heck?
What is life?
Right?
Do you have anything you want to talk about that you're listening or watching?
Sure. I'll mention another thing I'm watching on Disney Plus, which is also why I really wanted to get it back. Because there's the new season 2 of the, what is it called? The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, yeah. We watched the first season of that.
Oh, yeah. I watched the Magic episode this morning, and it just gave me so much life. Jeff Goldblum is an angel. Of a human who's like so therapeutic. He's just the way he moves, his face, his body. He's just the best person ever. He's so therapeutic to me, and he just makes me so happy.
He's such an oddball. It is super fun to watch him interact with people. I'm like, you're an alien. The way he like thinks and speaks.
He's just so excited about life, and like you can just tell in his body movements and the way he takes off his glasses and he's just so weird, and he's just so himself, and I just
Unapologetically Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I love him so much. So I watch that because he gives me so much life.
Okay, so we'll have to check out the second season of that.
Yeah.
We did really enjoy the first one.
It's just fun, lighthearted stuff. And
Yeah.
it's just get Jeff Goldblum.
I specifically remember the one about shoes or like
Yes,
Nikes.
Nikes, yeah.
Like the insanity of like Nike culture that I didn't realize was a thing.
Which we're in the middle of because Eugene created it.
I know, I
So
always
crazy.
forget.
It's really wild.
It is kind of wild. It's a huge brand.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, I don't have anything else to talk
Okay.
about. So,
Well, good episode, Abby.
thanks, girl. I guess we'll see you guys back not next week, but the week after.
After the new year.
See you next year.
See you next year. Oh my god, so funny.
Okay. Good night. Good. Bye. Okay, for sources, I watched What Happened Brittany Murphy, which is a documentary on HBO. I went to wikipedia.com, newyorktimes.com, vanityfair.com, newyorkpost.com, hollywoodreporter.com, people.com, and latimes.com. Our music is by Broke for Free and also Matt Edwards, and we are edited by Michael.
All right. Should I list our social medias?
Please do.
We have a lot of our things at Anxious and Afraid the Pod. So that's our handle for both of our Facebook page and group, along with our Instagram and Gmail.
We have a Twitter at AA the Pod.
You can support us on patreon.com/anxious and afraid.
If you do that, you get some pretty nice perks. You get ad-free episodes that are released a whole day early, and you get a free sticker.
You can also support us for free if you can't do any of that by leaving a rate review. You subscribe to the show, tell your friends.
Yeah, we would appreciate all of it. Do it right now.
Anxious and Afraid is partnered with the Oracle Network.